looking at the Senate and all these institutions to come up with a solution. I am not hearing a solution. I am hearing a detailed description of the problem.
I think for me, Chair, there should be certain consequences. I think where we are failing as a nation is the consequence part. How is it conscionable for you to preside over an administration that deducts money from employees, don't remit, then you tell us you also don't have a solution? Even criminal sanctions should follow such people. I mean, it's unconscionable. They come to our offices here, Chair, at KICC, and they are in bad shape. They come to cry in our offices, and we can't just say there's nothing to do. I think there should be criminal consequences for CEOs who do that you deduct money and you don't remit. And then the COB says they can't release twice. I mean, those are the conversations we should be having, Governor, at COG level, at the Senate level. And we're willing and ready to help. For as long as you don't see us enemies. We can sit and talk about these things. But for me, I think there should be some level of responsibility, criminal responsibility for people who are doing these things.
Senator Chiratke?
Maybe, Chair, I agree with the Nairobi Senator that if this money was released and the governor has described this in detail what happened and also the reluctance of COB, which we agree with, not to release money that had already should have been remitted, this was a pure theft. And I think, in my own opinion, certain consequences, including investigations and prosecution, and I'm happy, I don't know whether EACC are here with us. I think anybody found culpable, then and now, because the Constitution under Article 2265 is very clear that you should be held accountable while or even after you leave office. So there is no expiry or reflection of criminal liability if somebody took the people's money, the staff of Wajir. And Governor, we cannot be sympathetic with you because you already received your gratuity in them. So sympathy will not be there today.
Yeah.
So what I'm just saying in simple, Governor, and we agree with you largely, is let anybody, including your staff who are here, who might have participated in this well-orchestrated criminal enterprise of stealing from the employees, they must be investigated and prosecuted. I think EACC is normally with us. They just pick it up so that as we pursue for a resolution on this matter, somebody in this country, Chair, we should punish the issue of corruption to be as rare as a snowball in hell, so that somebody cannot walk into a public office, steal, get away with it, go to Santorini, and enjoy their lives as if nothing is happening, Mr. Speaker. I know Senator Sifuna does not know where Santorini is, but I will share with him. It's one of the exotic places.
Okay, members, looking at the time, we just have 20 minutes, so let's be conscious. Senator Wambua.
Okay. So, Chair, on the same note, Governor, the truth of the matter is the people of Wajir, especially those who have already retired, they are out of the payroll, definitely are expecting that because you are appearing today, there will be a solution or a way forward to their issues. It's easy to say it wasn't me. It's an easy thing to say, but for that mama, for that old man who worked tirelessly to make Wajir County what it is today, and they are at home now with nothing, and the only thing we can do here is to say their former governor did not remit their deductions for 25 months. They already know that. What hope, what exactly is it that your government is doing to ensure that those people, in a way, you reduce their suffering? It's first of all, you agree with me, it's criminal. It's really a very bad thing for a governor to deduct money from employees and not remit. It's a criminal act. So what exactly are you doing before the EACC comes for you or for whoever it is that they have to come for? What exactly are you doing about those people?
Chair, I'm not an accountant, but is it not possible to know if some money came, like 200 million, a receipt from Treasury for paying salaries, plus gratuity and everything? If the salaries were paid at net and the remittances were not made, is it not possible to know where that money went to and who misappropriated? I think it's possible to know. Because then if you have received money this month and you've paid the employees and the money that is deducted, say 20 million, was not remitted, we should know where that money went to and the person who misappropriated that money. And number two, Chair, we should be able as an oversight body to direct the county to pay this money. First of all, any payable should serve as a first charge, as a priority charge on any receipt. Why can't we direct that this also happens for this money?
Yeah, Governor, I think you have seen the mood of the Senate, that these are issues that we want to engage on positively because they impact on the lives of the very people we rely on for service delivery. Having described the problem, what do you put as the action you're going to take individually as a governor of Wajir and broadly as the leader of the team of governors?
Chair, that it's a criminal offense. Everything we have discussed here with respect to pending bills is a criminal offense. Because not only for the statutory, I keep repeating, even for those classrooms that people are threatening to close, the money was released, not applied appropriately. And it's easy to blame the governors, but even the governor himself, his gratuity was not paid. So this is, and of course, the tone at the top and everything is important, but I think there were officers who were in these roles, in HR, in finance, in procurement, who ought to have known better. And all these reports are everywhere. They are with Senate, they are with ESCC, they are all over. I mean, there's nothing confidential about them. That's one. Two, so it's budget indiscipline, Senator Wambua. It's budget indiscipline. You know, people are just issuing LSOs left, right, and center. They committed more than they budgeted for. Some were done, some weren't done, right? There even some that were paid which weren't done. All these is in all these reports, you know, and as I've said, I've given copies of all these reports to Senate, to ESC, to everybody. What am I going to do? Yes, probably I accept you could have, you know, agreed to something much earlier, but they gave us hope, the schemes, that they were willing to, because we are now compliant and we are among the better payers, timely payers, they were going to look at, you know, interest and penalty waiver. So we'll fast track that process and start paying. We'll put something substantial for the coming year's budget, but also have an agreement that's legal that binds the next regime to also pay, number one. Number two, we're also making the effort that I've said, because it's not only us, it's many counties, and the damage is already done, and there's no mechanism for bailout for counties when things are messed up, to see whether Treasury can get into some Treasury bonds or something. I know this has happened before with respect to the sugar industry and people like that for, you know, government guaranteed debts, and then take a guarantee against the equitable share or something. So those are conversations I'm willing to have. But with respect to Wajir, all I can do is speed up agreement, see whether, because it's also, when this mess happened on the watch of everybody, Chair, it's not also fair to punish the current regime to pay 410 million in interest against a 47 million principal, you know, I mean, and we also have to provide services, you know, in all areas and meet current commitments. So it's a challenge, but I'll get an agreement, pay something substantial, and then commit the next regime. That's what I promised the Senate. Thank you.
Okay, Auditor General, please check in the 25-26 audit whether this problem is recurring. Because the governor said that the problem, he has fixed it, save for historical matters. So you'll give us an assurance that statutory deductions, be they pensions, KRA, SHA, NSSF, SACCOs, insurance premiums, etc., I think if this is a matter that recurs, then we should define it as a persistent material breach of the PFM. And we must call the National Treasury and ask the National Treasury why they should not invoke Article 225 on stoppage of funds. Not just for Wajir, but for all counties. This is the true definition of persistent material breach of the law. Colleagues have talked about criminal sanctions, but restitution must also follow, because it's not enough to jail someone who stole your money and then you remain there looking poor. So I think we'll make those recommendations, but the critical thing is to ensure that this is not recurring. We have quite a number of matters to discuss, but time is limited. We had already gone through this report earlier. There are a few issues where we can take the written responses, but there are a few paint as a disturbing picture of the entity. For example, the Auditor General has queried excessive drivers in Wajir. And the Auditor General says you have 149 vehicles and 216 drivers. So I don't know whether they are drivers or turn boys. But when you look at that from a perspective of prudence, so actually there are two paragraphs. There's a paragraph on unserviceable motor vehicles and equipment. Says that 90 vehicles are grounded and unserviceable. Then when you go further in the report, issue number 19 on page 11 of the certificate, you've got a finding on excessive drivers. So these are the little leakages that will sink the ship. Governor, what's your comment? Just broadly speaking, without necessarily reading the response. 216 drivers for 149 vehicles, out of which 90 are grounded.
Chair, I think we cleared that with the auditor and we proved to them that the drivers, much as could have been slightly fewer, were necessary because we ran ambulances. Just now we're getting 10 new ambulances. We got 10 new vehicles also, but we ran ambulances, and because of our terrain and the referral system, because we're talking of a distance of 57,000 square kilometers, in which the sub-county hospitals sometimes can be, we have dispensaries, we have, and health centers, but to find a place where there's a doctor who can do surgery, they're quite apart. So these doctors work on these drivers work on shift, and sometimes it's necessary to have more than one driver for ambulances, for water bowsers, because during the drought we run a 24-hour emergency. So we actually run 3 shifts to deliver water to the farthest points where the livestock will have moved to. So considering everything, we are not that off given the numbers that we need because of the ambulatory service system and the water bowsers and the emergency nature of our county operations.
You don't see a redundancy. You find it is justifiable because
yes.
You have cited the health sector and maybe the water sector, but does that account for the full picture?
And also for the new fleet, because we are replacing our old fleet. We bought new vehicles